All right, good morning to you from the Storm Alert Weather Center. This is lead forecaster Daniel Wilson as we see a significant weather event beginning to unfold across much of Kentucky, mainly this evening and into the early hours on Saturday. We've been following this developing weather situation for several days, and now it is beginning to unfold as we see storms and taking place already this morning. Nothing severe. The latest Doppler radar imagery indicates this line of showers and thunder showers moving through most of south central and central Kentucky this morning. This is the latest radar imagery that we have. That shows light to moderate rain that's falling. Just a little over a half inch of rain has fallen since midnight here in the Storm Alert Center here in Russell Springs. Just a little over a half inch of rain has fallen thus far. Looking back a little bit farther to the west, you can see the precipitation begins to break a little bit as we go into the noon hour. No severe weather watches or warnings are in effect currently for this area. In fact, nowhere in the state. Turning the radar now to the latest Storm Prediction Center threat levels. Severe weather is likely for this area. An enhanced risk has been placed for much of the region. That would include much of south central Kentucky. Western Kentucky has moderate risk of severe weather and the likelihood of significant thunderstorms in that region. Moving right along, some more information from the Storm Prediction Center. A significant wind threat is impacting a large part of the United States. That would include our coverage area, western Kentucky. They're indicating long track tornadoes tonight, severe thunderstorms, and a lot of problems for that. We can't rule out the possibilities of tornadoes in this region. So now's the time you should be making preparations in the event that a tornado warning is issued. The main tornado threat is from areas basically west of Interstate 65, west of Bowling Green. But what I tell people all the time, you can't get caught up in boundaries set by man because only the good Lord knows if it's going to pass that boundary or not. And in the example that we have here of where the strong wind threats are, just because that Pulaski County, only half of that is in the significant wind threat, does not mean that it's going to stop exactly at that line. So there's still a significant risk of wind throughout the area. A lot of people have inquired about timelines, pretty much the same between 11 o'clock tonight and 3 in the morning. That'll be for our area. That would be Russell and surrounding counties. Now, if you are in western Kentucky, between 5 and 9 Central Time, over around Bowling Green, E-Town, Louisville, over in Grayson County, between 8 and midnight Central Time, and then, of course, the Lexington metro area, Lake Cumberland, Green River, down toward Cumberland County, up towards Cincinnati, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. or 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And the severe threat kind of diminishes once it gets into the I-75 corridor between 3 and 6 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday morning. So this is really a significant weather event that's unfolding. We're calling it a severe weather day across the area, and encouraging people to like and to share the video. We don't want to make it too long this morning because people needs to get the information and us move on. You need to make sure that you have ways of getting warnings today, whether you have a phone on your app or an app on your phone. That'll be something I won't live down today. You need to have an app on your phone, follow social media, NOAA Weather Radio. Your phone should have a WEA alert in case that there are warnings. You should also remember, do not rely on outdoor tornado sirens. If you're depending upon that, forget the siren mentality. They're out there. Don't rely on them. Don't depend on them. It's meant for people outdoors. It's World War II and antique technology, and we have so many better ways to get warnings. So do not rely on those. They will no doubt go off. They may not, depending on if they're working. And that's not to cast a bad reflection on anybody. It's just simply how it is a lot of times. Sometimes they fail to go off, and they're not the best reliable way. So forget the tornado sirens, because they may or may not go off. Have a lot of questions. Every thunderstorm event, we have emails, text messages. Is it going to get bad? What about a certain county? How bad is it going to get? Should we go to shelter? When's it going to hit? Will we have a tornado? And folks, whenever we have severe weather threatening, of course, it's a busy place here in the Storm Alert Center, a very, very busy place. And it's impossible to respond to those questions. But the thing is, we never know. It's impossible to know how bad it's going to be. What about Adair County? What about Pulaski County? What about Casey? What about Edmonton County? What about Muhlenberg County in Western Kentucky? What about any of them? We can't tell you how bad it's going to be and what is going to be impacted for your county. As far as this weather event, you can see by the latest information and the latest maps for the slight, moderate, enhanced risk. It's everybody in Kentucky pretty much, unless you live in the far eastern part of the state. It is a very likely that we'll have severe storms late tonight into tomorrow morning, and that's pretty much a given. How bad it's going to be, I don't know. Nobody knows. Will we have a tornado? I have people ask me, will we have a tornado tonight? I don't know that question. I don't know the answer to that. When's it going to hit? Storms can take times when they speed up, they can slow down, lag, and not impact as soon as we think they will. And they can speed up and be there before. So we don't know when it's going to hit. Should we seek shelter? I can't tell you that either, because you have to take some responsibility for yourself and think, well, what am I going to do to be prepared for this weather event? Does not mean to sound negative toward anybody, but should you go to a shelter? I mean, if you feel threatened, you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow the radar apps on your phone. You can follow radar on television and say, hey, it's getting close. We might ought to go somewhere. Don't wait to the last minute. but this is a significant weather event across the area, especially in western Kentucky. Again, some of the areas that are, for the timelines, you can see anywhere between 5 tonight and 5 in the morning is the timeline for severe weather. If you are in western Kentucky, the greatest risk for tornadoes exists probably along 65 back toward the west, toward Murray, Mayfield, Beaver Dam. All of those regions, significant tornado risk tonight. And you should have multiple ways to get warnings and be weather aware, be prepared. And we're continuing to follow this developing weather situation, and we'll keep you updated and informed as we go into the late afternoon and evening. We'll be posting watches as they're issued, and we'll be here along with storm anchor Keith Richardson. He'll be joining me later on this evening into the early hours on Saturday, if necessary, for severe weather coverage. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we're here to serve over 31,000 people who have made it a choice to like or follow our page, and we really appreciate everybody for tuning in and for following us this late morning into the early afternoon hours. We do appreciate it. Want to encourage everyone to share the video, share the information that we pass along. That way, the information can be put out for everybody to know what's happening. So that's going to be the 11 o'clock update this morning. Probably we'll do another one 5 or 6 o'clock tonight as the storms begin to unfold in western Kentucky. Kind of have mixed feelings on going live with weather coverage in western Kentucky. That is, if it begins to be a significant event, more than likely we will. We do have a lot of people all over the state that follows our weather coverage. One of the things that is kind of interesting, in the December 10th and the 11th back in 2021, we had people who were going between us and Bill Mack and some of the Lexington TV outlets. And then when BKO got knocked off the air, people had to have a way of getting weather information, and we were about the only people directly east of BKO or Bowling Green area who was doing weather, unless you were down in the Nashville metro. So we're glad to be part of the state, glad to be part of our community, and be an asset to the people under the sound of our voice. Severe weather day across Kentucky. Now's the time to take preparations. That's especially if you live in western Kentucky. Please, they're saying long track tornadoes are likely and severe thunderstorms. If you are in western Kentucky, you have a significant risk. And it's not only that, we're going to show you this graphic one more time. Significant wind threat exists for all of our area, pretty much all of the state. So with that in mind, thank you all very much for tuning in this morning. And we will be back with an update probably 4, 5, 6 o'clock this evening as we see more data and have more information on what we can expect. Thank you all for tuning in to the Storm Alert Weather Center in South Central Kentucky. This is lead forecaster Daniel Wilson. This is